Good morning. My name is Donna Brown, and I am the Executive Director of South Boston Neighborhood Development Corporation. I'm here today with our partner, Mark Winkeller from Caritas Communities. And on behalf of both of our organizations, welcome to Patriot Homes, welcome to South Boston, and happy Veterans Day to all of you. We are thrilled to be here this morning. I hope everybody got a flag. So, Patriot Homes, and I hope you'll all take a tour after. We have 24 apartments here that will soon be filled with veterans and their families. Some of them have been homeless, some of them have grown up here in South Boston, and some are from other communities. They have all served our country, and for that, we are very grateful. And now they will all become members of our wonderful South Boston neighborhood, and we're eager to welcome them to this community.
Thank you.
As many of you know, we have worked long and hard since like 2008 to get to here today, and it has been worth it. And Mark and I think have had a lot of fun. We're going to do 2 more deals together because we've had a lot of fun with this project. But we have many, many people to thank, and many of you are here today with us, and we're so glad that you could join us. So we both would like to thank our boards, the boards and staff of Caritas Communities. I mean, they have just been an absolutely fabulous partner. We could not have done this project here in South Boston without that partnership and all the support they have provided with their team over these years. And I want to thank my own board and staff for sticking with this project for all these years, and my family, who have probably gotten very sick of hearing about the trials and tribulations of Patriot Homes. But I'm very glad that they supported me through all of this. We also have the Commonwealth Department of Housing and Community Development to thank. They've provided tremendous support to this project. We have our dear friend here, Tom Lyons, who was one of the very first people I spoke to about trying to create veterans housing here in South Boston. And I can't thank him enough for his friendship and support. He's also here representing Mass Housing. We also have funding from Mass Development through bond financing and brownfields funding. We had a tremendous amount of asbestos removal to do in this site, and we could not have done it without their support. Radius Bank is here. And then I have to thank the City of Boston Department of Neighborhood Development, who Sheila Dillon and her absolutely fabulous staff, John and Teresa and Carrie O'Brien's here too today. I mean, they have been so supportive of me personally and this project from absolutely the beginning. And Sheila has this fantastically talented, dedicated staff, and I can't thank them enough either. And I would be remiss if I did not thank the late Mayor Thomas Menino, because he was also behind this project from the very beginning when it was a very challenging situation here, and really helped us move this project forward, and was a strong supporter not only of this affordable housing development, but of affordable housing throughout the city of Boston, and we all know how important that is. The other important thing about Patriot Homes, and it's something that was very important to our organization here in South Boston, was that we build this in partnership with the building trades unions. And so Patriot Homes is a union-built affordable housing development. And we are very proud of that. And we're very proud to be able to say that this project has been built with workers who receive fair wages and great working conditions. And that was something that was incredibly important to this community, historically has been important to this community. And many of those in the trades are veterans, so it was just a great partnership to have with all of the building trades unions, and our contractor, Built Right Construction, and his construction supervisor, Bob Casey, have just done a fantastic job for us throughout this project. We have many other funders and supporters. I just want to take an opportunity to thank our architects, Narrow Gate, and their design team for everything that they have done for this project and coming up with a great arrangement for these buildings so that we can serve single veterans and veterans with families. And I want to thank our early supporters, especially Congressman Lynch and Councilor Linehan, who stood up for this project very early on, and that meant a lot to me as a neighborhood resident here in South Boston, and a lot to all of us who have worked on this project. So I have one last shout out. It's my own personal shout out to my brother, Tom Brown. He's a retired Marine Gunny Sergeant. He's here with us today from San Diego, California. And I just want to thank him and let him know, let you all know, that his 21 years of service in the Marine Corps are something that continues to inspire me. And I'm very grateful he's here today. So I'd like to take this opportunity. I know we have many other people to thank, and Mark is going to have an opportunity to cover anybody I forgot. But I'd like to introduce our mayor, Martin Walsh, who also, since he took office, has been dedicated to ending veteran homelessness and has been a huge supporter of Patriot Homes from the moment he took office. And we're thrilled to have him here today to cut the ribbon on this building. So, Mayor Martin Walsh.
Thank you, Donna. Thank you very much. And I want to thank all the partners who made today possible. They were thanked, but you can't thank them enough. And I want to thank the South Boston Neighborhood Development Corporation, Caritas Communities, Department of Neighborhood Development, all of the funders, all of the providers who helped put this complicated deal together. I first became aware of this deal when I was actually the head of the building trades. I got a call actually by Stephen Lynch and then by Mayor Menino, and they said, you know, we need some help on this project. And I talked to Donna, and Donna came in and addressed the trades at the time. I know Billy was working with the community, and everyone, all the electeds were working with the community, and we got the trades to rally around to come to neighborhood meetings and support the project, but also want to be part of this project because, as Donna said, many of the building trade members are veterans themselves, and many of them are fighting right now overseas. So I want to thank the building trades for their support. I want to give a shout out to Sheila Dillon and her incredible staff at D&D, and it seems like myself and Sheila lately have been at a lot of groundbreakings or ribbon cuttings for housing, and that's a good thing in the city of Boston. We're building more and more affordable housing on Tuesday. One of the bright spots of Tuesday was that we passed a CPA in the city of Boston, where we're going to be able to build more affordable housing in the city. So we're excited about that. I want to thank our Commissioner of Veteran Services, Giselle Sterling, who does incredible things for our veterans. Actually, after this today, we are going down to the Condon, and we're going to go out with about 200 volunteers. I'm going to be knocking South Boston, thanking veterans for their service to our country. Thank you, Commissioner Sterling, for your great work. I want to thank all the elected officials up here with me, and I know they're going to speak in a minute, but I want to give a special shout out to our congressman. Our congressman really is one of the people that serves the United States Congress that truly looks out for our veterans every single day. As a member of the Armed Services Committee, Stephen, since the first day he got elected to Congress back in 2001, one of the main areas that Stephen wanted to focus on was veterans. And I think part of that, him wanting to do that, is because he comes out of the trades. And it's a brother and sisterhood, and it's about looking out for each other and fighting for rights. And when Stephen was an ironworker, certainly he built a very close bond with his fellow members as an ironworker. When he became an elected official, his career was about how do you help our members move forward? How do you help our veterans move forward? So I want to thank a special shout out to Congressman Stephen Lynch for all that he does for the veterans in our country. Thank you, Stephen. Today on Veterans Day, I want to thank all our veterans. I want to thank you for your service. I don't think there's a better way of celebrating Veterans Day by opening this new home here for veterans and their family. And South Boston is one of those communities that has never forgotten their veterans. And again, once again, South Boston is one of the highest populations of veterans in the city of Boston right now. So opening this home right here means an awful lot, not just to the city of Boston, but more importantly, to the community of South Boston leading the way again. As a city, we have a responsibility to look out for our veterans and our military men and women. We owe them a debt of gratitude for their sacrifice and for protecting all of us in our city and our country. We are committed to supporting our veterans in every single way we can, through educational opportunities, through financial help, quality health care, and especially housing. It's wonderful to see this former police station, which has been once sitting vacant for so long, being transformed. This redevelopment brings 24 apartments with all veterans' preference. 6 will be set aside for homeless households, especially our homeless veterans. Many of these apartments are handicap accessible or adaptable. All of these apartments are 100% affordable. This project certainly goes beyond housing. It's a meeting space for the South Boston Development Corporation. It's a satellite for our Boston Veterans Office. Not to mention there'll be a live-in manager and staff, and there'll be a constant support and services available here. So I want to thank everyone who made this project a reality here in our city. In Boston, we want everyone to call this city their home, especially and including our veterans, who deserve all the happiness, health, and support after selflessly serving all of us. Thank you, and may God bless the United States of America.
I'd like to introduce Congressman Lynch.
Thank you. Thank you, Donna. I just want to recognize a few people who have not been recognized this morning, and that's Donna's board. Donna Brown heads up the South Boston Neighborhood Housing Development Group, and I know that Bob Monahan is here as well, and Mike Farmer as well. I think Mike Foley is here somewhere. And these people behind the scenes have worked on this project for now eight years. A long time. Bill Linehan and I, very early on, I think Senator Dorsinafori and Representative Collins were in high school back then. But it's been a long haul. It's been a partnership, though. And think about this. It took 9 different sources of funding to get this project done. That's the way this works. About 60% of the funding is federal low-income housing tax credits, and then Mayor Walsh stepped up in a big way on behalf of the city. And the other thing I want to say about Mayor Walsh is this is not the only veterans housing project that he's doing today. He's doing several. He's got a major project over at the New England Shelter for Homeless Veterans. He's working with Governor Baker on that, and it really does take 9 sources of funding to get all this done. And I know I have some state officials here as well from DHCD and groups from all over. I think we used the Brownfields Fund for this as well. And just any location where we could get funding, we pass it all together. You'll notice that I have a very bad relationship with the FAA right now. I threatened to take $25 million out of their budget because they weren't doing outreach and mitigation on flights, so they're paying me back right now. But I live to fight another day. I just got reelected, so they got 2 more years to deal with me. I want to thank our pipers, Mr. Talent and Mr. Casper, for the great job they did this morning. And I want to give thank you. And also our color guard. I think they've receded already, but they've got another event. So very busy. But I do want to give one special shout out, and that's to the firefighters, Local 718. I actually asked the architects of the Capitol to fly a couple of flags over the Capitol. It's one of the things I get to do on special occasions. And I asked to fly 2 flags. I said, well, one will go on the roof of Patriot Homes, and the other one I'll give to Donna Brown. But for some reason, there was no access to the roof. And so a couple of days ago, our friends from Local 718, the firefighters, put the ladder truck up and fixed a light and put the flag that we flew over the Capitol over Patriot Homes, where it will remain for a while. And also I'd like to just present to Donna Brown for all your good work. You know, Donna Brown has created 180 units of affordable housing in South Boston. And knowing that these 24 units took 8 years to accomplish, you know, there's a tremendous amount of effort involved here. And for those of you who despair about Election Day last Tuesday, we can all be thankful that the founders of our government established our democracy in a way that has so many checks and balances between the executive and the Congress and the judiciary for the sole purpose that one person cannot screw things up. And we will test that theory over the next 4 years and see how good of a job they did. But have faith in America. God bless you all. Happy Veterans Day.
I'd like to allow Councilor Linehan a few moments to speak.
I forgot my notes, okay. This is a very special day for our community. It's a very special day for veterans and for all of America to recognize veterans and their contribution to America, but also the veterans who have contributed to our community of South Boston. I grew up right here on D and Broadway, and this was the police station. Actually, I had friends and family that would stay here occasionally. Short-term stay. It wasn't not as good as we have today, but and so for me, as someone who's been committed to political life and public service in the city of Boston, to see a surplus building become such an asset and a dedication to the work that our neighbors and our countrymen and women have done, I stand here grateful that this address is 273 D Street, and that it's in South Boston, and that we're providing homes for 24 veterans. All of the housing is going to veterans, which is absolutely fantastic. And 10 of those places are designated, because of the application process, for South Boston veterans. And that to me is, so not only is the community being served, but the greater community is being served, and above all, our veterans here on Veterans Day. So it's an honor for a D Street kid to grow up and then some decades later, right, stand and see this thing, this particular development built. So I want to thank everybody who had anything to do with it. I want to thank our community for embracing veterans and the broader community of veterans. And I want to thank all the people who did the great work at the South Boston Neighborhood Development Corporation, at Caritas, City of Boston, our state officials. The money came from everywhere, as the congressman said, and this is the product we have right here on D and Broadway. Thank you very much.
Please welcome Senator Linda Dorsina-Forsyth.
Good morning, everyone. Happy Veterans Day. It is an honor to be here with all of you. I want to thank you, Donna, the South Boston NDC, the incredible board, the staff, for working so hard to bring this project to fruition and bring it alive, 24 units for our incredible veterans. I want to thank Congressman Lynch for his leadership and for fighting for this project back in 2008. So I'm a newbie. I didn't get here till 2013 representing South Boston, but we have incredible leaders here. Also, Councilor Linehan, thank you for standing up for our veterans, but standing up for families and standing up for housing that's affordable, which is so, so important. And so we thank you today. I want to thank our mayor for his great work in the city of Boston, making sure that we can create housing that are for families and individuals who may not be able to afford that $700,000 home, but is able to live in this great city where they were born and raised and where they hope to remain in their end days. I want to thank State Representative Nick Collins, my partner, where we work collaboratively together on working on getting resources for our incredible district, and this is one of them. But today is an important day. I want to thank our veterans in service, those that are with us and those that have passed, and I want to thank the families who put everything on the line for us. I want to thank the funders here today who made this happen. The mayor recognized Sheila. I got to give her a shout out too, because we worked together. I used to work at D&D. Thank you for your work as Chief of Housing for our great city and for your commitment on making sure that folks have an opportunity to live and work here. And as we end, I finish my remarks, I just want to say, and I know Congressman Lynch touched on it, but on Tuesday we did the CPA, which is great, and the mayor said this, because that's going to create housing and funds where we're going to be able to create more housing that's affordable, supporting historical buildings, but also open space. Very, very important. And the state will match some of that money. And so we look forward to working with our mayor and the administration to make sure that the resources are there to support Boston and the affordable housing. We're trying to move forward. But as I end my remarks and we think of Tuesday, I just want to say that, we can't let disappointment calcify into resentment. Over the next few days, we need to pause and take a deep breath and reflect on the work that lies ahead of us. We have to turn our energy into action and be ready to do our best moving forward. We remember the struggles of generations before us who faced incredible obstacles and even the threat of bodily harm and death to overcome daunting odds. They persevered. We will survive and progress together. And I hope that as we work to heal our great nation, that we treat each other with dignity and respect and move forward together in continuing to build upon our incredible and amazing democracy. Thank you so much, and God bless.
Please welcome Representative Nick Collins.
Thank you, Donna, and the team at South Boston Neighborhood Development Corp. I want to thank Donna not just for her stick-to-itiveness on this project, but for educating me quite a bit on what the state can do to help projects like this. In particular, with mass development, I want to thank mass development. I know John Beatty's here. Thank you for being here. In the Brownfields funds and what we can do in the legislature, working with Senator DeFori and the Senate, not just to make sure those resources can come here to South Boston, but also statewide for not just veterans housing, but affordable housing across the state. So it's quite an education for me, and I want to thank Donna for that. I want to recognize a friend to this project and someone who represents the Baker administration. He's dressed incognito here, but Highway Administrator Tom Tinlin. What's great and what's unique about this project is not just the fact that it's going to be serving 24 families of veterans, but that there are services on site. I think if you talk to people in the service sector, particularly trying to help vets, that connectivity between services and veterans is huge. And the gap that exists is hard to fill. I want to thank Dan McGoon and his team at Mass Fallen Heroes for stepping up to fill that gap as well. But to have that kind of service on site is invaluable, and we think it makes this project so unique. I'm happy to be here as a state representative. Thank you all for sending me back to the State House for 2 more years so we can do more work on behalf of our vets in South Boston, and happy Veterans Day.
I'd like to introduce a dear friend Tom Lyons, who was with me on this project from absolutely very beginning. He's here representing Mass Housing, who's one of our many funders, but he is a friend to all veterans, as you all know, and a friend to South Boston.
Thank you, Donna. To all our elected officials, once again, thank you for recognizing and taking care of our veterans. On behalf of our Executive Director, Tim Sullivan, once again, Mass Housing is proud to be part of a project that is creating affordable housing, not only in the city of Boston, but throughout the Commonwealth. I'm here today actually wearing two hats. One as representative Mass Housing, but also as a Marine Corps veteran and someone who has been part of the veterans community in Boston for some 35 years. And in fact, Donna, I had dark hair when this project started. The Marine Corps has always prided itself in looking after its own. And it had nothing to do with tactics and everything to do with making sure every Marine was accounted for. And I think that's what we're doing today. We're making sure we're accountable to the men and women who have served this country honorably and proudly, and making sure they have a place to call home. For 8 years, I was executive director at the New England Center for Homes for Veterans. When I was there, it was a New England Shelter for Homes for Veterans. And I found it really unconscionable that a veteran had to call a shelter home. Someone who had served this country honorably and proudly, in time of war. And to come home and have to call a shelter home, to me, was disgraceful. So what Donna and the city of Boston and community of South Boston has done today has really made me proud, not only to be a former son of South Boston, but being proud to be a veteran, knowing that people still care about veterans. Thank you.
I'd like to give an opportunity to Mark Winkler, our partner from Caritas Communities, an opportunity to close out our program today. And thank you all for being here.
I'll be mercifully brief, but a couple of things. One, the list of funders is enormous. CDAC should be mentioned, Roger Herzog, Executive Director, the Federal Home Loan Bank as well, and Boston Capital, our tax credit equity. What's interesting to me is a couple of facts. Caritas Communities is a provider of other veterans housing. We have over 111 veterans housing projects that we've put together in the last 5 years, which makes us a major supporter of veterans housing, which is wonderful. The sad thing is it's only 111 units. I'd like to have 500 units. It's hard to get these projects done. The other thing I want to point out is that in addition to public money and a lot of public support, we were fortunate enough to attract a lot of private support. And I want to take a quick moment. I know it's the end, but bear with me. We got significant grant funding from private sources, and I want to just share the limelight with them. We got funding from the Lynn Foundation, the Master Attorney General's Office, Home Depot, who I believe are here today, TD Bank, Charles Banks Homes, Yawkey Foundation, Mulford Foundation, Flatley Foundation, the Amelia Peabody Charitable Fund, Enterprise Partners, and the Pappas Charitable Foundation. I read these off to you not to show off about how great we all are, Don and I are a heck of a team, but to show you that putting a job together like this is even harder than 9 different public sources. We had to find other funding as well, and fortunately there are companies, communities, individuals who share the passion that we all show today to house veterans. That's how the job got done. Caritas is delighted to be Donna's partner. We have 2 more jobs to do together, maybe more if we can. And I want to thank you all for coming, and we're very proud of this. If you haven't been in the building, we have tour guides. Please take a moment and walk through and see what we actually did. You'll love it. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you. Please have some cake.
Excuse me. It's been said many times up here, but I'm Bob Monahan, I'm president of the board. I'm totally at peace by saying there isn't anybody that spent more time, worried more hours, or worked harder than on this project to invested every ounce of capital that she has for us to get here today than our amazing executive director, of the Neighborhood Development Corporation. I'm going to ask you to join me and please recognize the amazing Donna Brown. Thank you.